Friends, I'm standing in a spot that maybe technically you've never been before, but trust me, you've been here tens, dozens of times, maybe once, maybe 1,000 times, because where I'm standing is the location of Walt's original Magic Kingdom. First to be called Mickey Mouse Park, to be built here on the back of the studio lot, but eventually this idea grew into something much, much larger. This is where Disneyland began. What do you say we walk around and 70 years later, kind of remind ourselves that sometimes when things don't go the way that we've planned, there's a better plan for us out there that maybe we're not aware of yet. The gentleman that discovered the plot of land down in Anaheim, one's first name was Buzz, the other's last name was Wood. So Disneyland was discovered by the original Buzz and Woody. But long before that, Walt was already curating an idea, already putting together a project for a theme park. And it was because people kept writing him wanting to come here, Walt Disney Studios, where they made the films, the animations. They wanted to come out and take a visit. Walt, being an amazing entrepreneur, said, there is a business there. I see an opportunity. How can we get people an opportunity to come out to where we make the movies and let them meet Mickey Mouse, let them meet the characters? Walt's wheels started turning, and there was so many other pieces to this, but that is the original idea. It's been fascinating to me how many of Walt's ideas did make it from this little sand lot down to Anaheim. Almost every idea that was sketched out for this small parcel of land would come to fruition. Now, some of those things are still around today, and some of them only last a season, but none of those ideas really got thrown away. I'm joined today by my friend Adam, and I want to give Adam props because I saw you do a video out here and I was like, I've got to go do this myself. I've got to experience this because it looked so cool to like walk around where Disneyland was going to be built.
It's amazing. That was a long time ago. I haven't been out here in a while. Well, I used to always drive down the freeway and I'd look over there. Like one day I got to stop off. So one day I stopped off and just walked around.
It's wild though that it was like this when Walt wanted to do it. And Disneyland's gotten bigger and bigger, Disney's got bigger and bigger, and nobody's built anything here. Like, I don't know why it's just completely on pause. So over in this area of Rivers of America, on the far end, a small circus area, a frontier land, a little miniature Main Street USA, and as Adam pointed out, there was going to be a hub, but it didn't go to different lands like later. Adam just reminded me of a detail that's very important here for people who are trying to figure out the scale. There wasn't a highway going through the land when it was going to be Mickey Mouse Park. So they would have had all of this up to the banks of the LA River, which would have just been wild.
A lot more room, but still not huge.
I also wonder, like, if this was what Walt built and it was this size, like the reason why Disneyland was often like imitated, but never actually duplicated or beaten because he just nailed it so hard the first time. I wonder if he would have built this and it had been smaller, would that have given somebody else in the marketplace the advantage to like out Disney Disneyland, you know?
Right. Take the idea, but actually make something that's a lot better.
Yeah, so in a way, he went so ambitious that everybody was like, he started the race and he's already in first place. So this right here, this is the ABC building. When you go in that building, there's a Starbucks on the ground level, and the hallways is just full with all kinds of photos of famous people, celebrities. And then up in the very top where you see that clock tower, That's where the executive suites are. And then over here is the animation building where many of your favorite stories were pitched, written, edited, art directed, somewhat illustrated, all right here. And then right here is where one of the greatest art installations was dreamed of, but not built. So sometimes you have a big idea and it doesn't go your way. And trust me, I, like everybody, I get so frustrated when the idea that I think is so perfect just doesn't resonate, and then ultimately it doesn't happen. But I always try to remember this space, this step up at bat, and this strikeout. Because this not happening made it possible for everything else to happen. I've had so many twists in my life that at the moment they seemed horrible, but if they didn't happen, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't be standing here today. So sometimes you gotta remember, it's great to have a plan, but it's even better to be adaptive and open to whatever the universe has planned for you. Because we only get a little bit of time here. And sometimes we think that we run it all. We run a small portion of it. Thing about this is that it's such a symbolism of, like, sometimes things don't go the way you want them to, but they work out. And you have lived a pretty insane life of just doing whatever you want to do. You ever stop and think about sometimes, like, how because you decided to do this, you decided to do that, like, it's just been like a riddle of decisions why you're not at a feed store today.
Yes.
And you're standing in this vacant lot behind Walt Disney Studios.
In Burbank with you in a field talking about Walt. I think about that all the time. I'm standing here. I'm not at a traditional job, but I'm looking at a lady walking a horse through Mickey Mouse Park. But I made some good decisions and some bad decisions, but I think they all work out in the end, the bad decisions. So as long as you're making some kind of a decision and doing something, usually it works out.
Yeah, I think when the bad decisions, you let them teach you something.
Exactly.
That's when they don't become the worst decisions, but good lessons. And yeah, it'd be nice to be one of those people like, I've nailed everything in my life. I've struck out more than I hit the ball.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I always had this thing. They all can't be home runs, but I've learned that really none of them need to be home runs. Just as long as you just keep getting base hits on a constant basis, then everything works out.
Think about doing something that people care about for 7 hours. You posted at noon, and at 7 o'clock, people still care. Then imagine posting something on Monday, and a week later on Monday, people still care. Then imagine posting something on January, and by July, people still care. Imagine doing something in 1955, and 70 years later, people still care. I think all we ever want to do is make a difference. My man nailed it. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed our walk and talk through Mickey Mouse Park. Got you maybe thinking a little bit about your future plans and how you can't let anything hold you down, because you never know how the future is gonna lift you up. I appreciate everybody showing up. Hope you're enjoying going on this adventure. Thank you so much to Adam for hanging out today and including me in his video. And thank you for showing up. I'll be back here tomorrow. Maybe? Have a good one.